What's up? What's up? Have you seen that bird that like speaks and he literally just starts off with "What's up? What's up?" I don't know. I am both impressed by that bird and creeped out a little bit. Anyways, so I'm back with another video. Woohoo! Sorry it's a little late. Usually I put it on Friday, but I don't know. I didn't record this till like right now. It's 9 p.m. on Friday. So whoops. I didn't have time to record the audio. I had the footage, I just didn't have the audio. But I kind of wanted to talk about a couple different things because I have a lot of things to talk about, but the main thing is talking about composition today. And then I also wanted to like just explain stuff about my comic and like where am I at on it and the website and things like that. So, I have started formatting my comic for print. I decided to print it at 6x9, even though like I originally formatted them for like a traditional comic. And traditional comics are kind of this like really weird size where it's like 6.69 by 11 something bullshit. I think it's actually like 10.75, but whatever. The normal comic size, like for a standard floppy book, it's a really weird one. So I decided to format it for a 6x9 trade paperback because no matter what, if I decide to print on demand or get it traditionally printed at like, a normal printer, 6x9 always is a cheap price because it's what a standard book is. So you get kind of better rates on 6x9s. The weirder the book size, the more expensive it is to print the book because you end up wasting like paper and stuff. I digress, but it basically meant that I had to like reformat a lot of my pages, and it also meant that I had to edit stuff in my book because I realized I had a lot of things that I needed to fix, but they're all little things. The main thing is a lot of people had reappearing and disappearing glasses because I kind of forget to draw the glasses sometimes on a lot of characters. Reese, I'm really bad about it. So there's a couple pages where I had to do that, but then there's also pages where I had to just completely like kind of shift the composition because it just was like an inch off everywhere, so I had to just fix it. But that's kind of something I wanted to talk about was composition overall, because I think this really is what separates the men from the boys is composition when it comes to comics. I can always tell when it's like somebody's first comic because they all make the same fucking mistakes. I don't know why. And, I've drawn over like 600 comic pages at this point, so I'm not an expert, but I do know that there is like a flow state to like making comics, and it's like you either in one or two camps. You're in the camp of drawing things too close up, drawing two things far away. For me, I always draw things too far away from the camera. I don't know why I do this. It's like everything that I draw, like my natural state of drawing is kind of just like a full body pose at mid-level horizon. That's like what I always draw at. But some people, they only do like headshots, so like it's just sort of like your natural drawing thing will always be reflected in your comic books. And even though I had like good page flow and everything for my first pages of Paranormal Plague, I noticed that my shots early on in the comic are way farther back. Like there's some panels where it's like it looks like a stick figure of like who is in the shot. And some of those are important for establishing shots, but I do find it kind of interesting that I was fighting the ratios in which to put everything at. And I think a lot of that has to do with that I really am just at like 30 years old, finally studying composition. It's kind of something that like I never really took super seriously. And I still don't know if I do take it seriously or not, because it's like hard to study composition. It's hard to study layout, It's not like where you have like a still life in front of you and you just draw the still life. Studying composition is different because you have to actually think about where shit is going on the page. So like composition is extremely intentional, whereas like I feel like anatomy and stuff can be coincidental. So I feel like I don't know. the best comics you will read are ones with good page flow and good composition. And I just feel like I am just now able to make alright compositions without breaking my fucking back to do it. But yeah. By the way, I also switched from sketching these in my sketchbook to this paper. So I printed out on 11 by 17 paper, and then it's cut down to 11 by 14 paper. And then technically the actual page on the paper size is like a 8.5 by like 10 something. So it's slightly bigger than print size, but it's mostly bigger because I needed a place to put the paper afterwards, and I figured if I wanted to put it in a box or a portfolio or something, like when I have all these pages done, I needed it to be a standard size, because if I made it this like really obscure weird size, it would like be such a pain in the ass to find a box for it. So there's a big border on the edge, but I end up just like kind of drawing stuff all the way to the edge anyway, so it's whatever. But I take the like comic size as like a really loose guideline. Just as long as you can fit the text into the page, I don't really care. Because again, I scan these in and I alter the fuck out of them anyway. Like they look wonky as hell like when I draw them sometimes, and then I'll just fix it because I don't really care. I know that's like such a weird way of like going about art, being like, well, why didn't you just get it perfect with the first drawing? And it's like, I don't know, because I have the liquify tool and I can just like whoop whoop and then it's done. So like, who cares? Just like doing it in this like weird like sort of traditional sort of digital way just means that I can actually like draw it and not like tear my hair out, because whenever I ink things digitally, I tend to zoom in too much, and then I will spend 400 years on a digital inking, but like when I do it traditionally, I just don't give a shit. So yeah, so that's kind of why I do it this way, even though it like doesn't realistically make sense to do it this way. Also, I really beef that drawing of Princess on here, and I literally just write ew, and then I just fix it digitally. But yeah, I actually am going to show the process of like what it looks like when I initially scan it, and then like kind of what I do to it, and then the lettering, and then the inking, or like the fixing the inking, and then yeah, just finalizing the page, because I haven't really showed any of that part, even though that's like 90% of what the comic is just, you know, the actual comic making process. But yeah, I feel like I'm starting to understand composition. 30 years old. I think I've done it, boys. I think I'm there. It's kind of this weird thing where it's when you make comics, it's not like other art forms where it's like I never feel like I'm good at comics. I always feel challenged no matter what. And I like that. I like the challenge of drawing comics. I like the challenge of telling a story through the page. And I think like every comic kind of has its own vibe, so you really can't like, you can't apply everything, like you can't apply all the same techniques to like different artists, because some shit just does not work for other stories. I see a lot of like manga advice where they're like, you can never do these crazy comic book type panels in manga, because in comic books, like American comic books, you'll have some crazy panels where it'll be like a circle or a triangle. But in manga, they really like just stick to squares and diagonals. But I really hate like that very like broad advice, because I really think that's bullshit. I think you can kind of do whatever you want. If you're good enough, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I really like the crazy panels, because I think sticking to just boxes and stuff can be detrimental to like the overall flow of the page. I don't know. I do all the stuff that like editors tell you not to do. I break the panel borders. I do all the shit where they're like, stop doing this. This is how you're an amateur. But to be quite frank, I think there's a difference between intentionally breaking the borders versus you can't like color within the lines kind of thing, you know? I don't know, but I kind of wanted to like talk about the composition with specific comic books, but then I thought like I don't want anybody to feel bad, because some of them I wouldn't be like showing like bad examples, but like I don't know, I feel like like there's this manga that I read. It's the green lesbian manga, if you know what I mean. I'll put an image of it. I actually don't know the name of the actual. It's like one of those where it has like a Panic at the Disco kind of like crazy long title, where I don't care. I hate mangas that do that. By the way, it'll be like, I'm secretly I think it's literally like my girlfriend is secretly a man or something. I don't remember what the fucking title is. Anyways, it's like a sentence for a title. But anyways, the green lesbian manga, I think is kind of this interesting composition where a lot of these pages actually are boring, but because they have like this green, like they have one color to really pop things out of like the panel, it doesn't, it like makes these boring compositions like really stand out. Kind of like how like people use sketchbooks. So I kind of think limited color is pretty cool, but again, the cost to print that is probably like super not worth the color. But the gimmick did sell me on it. But yeah. But yeah, this is the process now. I do the lettering in Photoshop, and then I do the balloons in in Clip Studio, and then I do the grays in Photoshop. Again, I don't fucking know. It's the stupidest system ever contrived, I know. But it works, so whatever. I do what I want. But yeah, I think I am getting better at it. I used to be so bad at composition when it comes to I think I'll have to like literally pull up examples like in a video or something to explain what I'm talking about, because like it's not like the worst thing ever for comics to have like bad composition or whatever, because as long as it tells a story, it's fine. But yeah, if you open a manga page, a lot of stuff actually is not super detailed. Like if you open Death Note or something, because I have like the really big fat all-in-one volume, and if you open up just like any page in there, the comic is actually like not that detailed, and there's not much going on panel wise. So it's really like, if you fuck up composition, it's like, it's fine. Like if it tells a story, it's fine. It's just like not good, you know? It's not gonna like intrigue the reader. So now I just try to make it like, instead of just like passably readable, let's make it like interesting. I know, we're upgrading. Let's make it like, I don't know, somewhat entertaining to look at the page that you're reading. Yeah, but I don't know. I just think that if you guys are struggling with making comics, it probably isn't the stuff that you think it is. It's probably fucking composition, let's be real. So if you notice that like characters are super pulled back from the panel, maybe pull them closer for emotional shots. And if it's a fight scene, pull the camera back, you know? There's just certain scenes where you need to be closer and certain scenes where you need to be far away. So, yeah. But, one super annoying thing that I'm doing right now is that because I, like, switched from digital to traditional on these pages, there is, like, a 2-page interim where it's, like, some of it is done digitally, but I didn't finish it. And then I'm like, well, I can't, like, do it traditionally now. So I have 2 pages that I have to, like, just ink digitally. And I've been putting it off. But I have to do those 2 pages, like, right now. Because in sequence, I can't really, like, post it until I finish those pages. Because then, you know, the fucking, you wouldn't be able to read it because it's a linear story. But anyways, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I hope this is probably the most boring video yet. But yeah, I didn't have a lot of time to do like separate sketches this week because I am in a printmaking class, and I basically tore up my hand real bad in that printmaking class. I didn't like stab myself or anything, but it was more like, because you have to like gouge this like, what do they call it? The stamp or whatever. Because you have to like carve everything out. It like, I have basically arthritis in my hand. Pretty bad. So my hand has been killing me this week. So I have kinesiology tape. Is that what you call it? Kinetic tape. Kinesiology tape. I think that might be what it's called. And I use this tape on my hand, and it's been better. But like the beginning of this week, I had a really hard time sketching. But I'm good now that I have the tape, and I can get back to my shenanigans. But I have a few illustrations that I would like to do, and I think I will be getting to that soon. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.